Hey guys, welcome back. I don't know how the lighting is in here, it might be a little bright, but today we are working on my 2000 4Runner. So this is kind of my Colorado rig. I use this for camping and all the off-road trails. It's got the factory rear locker in here. It's been out in Colorado for about 2 years now. Just brought it home to do some maintenance on it and make a few upgrades. So one thing we're doing today is we're going to install a solar panel for charging. And then we're also going to do the diode mod. It's pretty popular with the Toyota guys. Just to bump up the voltage on the charging system a little bit. Because I do run an AGM battery, and these AGMs they want a little more voltage, usually around 14.5 volts. So basically what we do is we just pull the Alt-S fuse out and replace it with this diode. This is basically just a fuse for the exciter wire going to the alternator. It tricks the alternator to pumping out another half a volt of charge. Shouldn't hurt anything. Alternator is very capable of putting that voltage out. It's just kind of something you do for if you're running an AGM battery, get the longest life out of the battery. So I do run an Optima in here yet. This thing's been used and abused and run dead, and so far it's still kicking. It's going on 5 years old this year. So people say the Optima quality's gone down, but I've had really good luck with them. Anyway, here's a part number for the diode fuse. It's just a GM part number. You will have to trim this down a little bit to get it to fit. But the first thing we're going to do is just start this up, see what the voltage is at the battery, and then we'll put the fuse in, or the diode in, and check it again. Okay, so at idle we're at 14.2, which is pretty good. Now we'll just trim this down and put that in. Try it again. Be right back. Alright, so I trimmed that down a little bit so it's a little narrower. Now I'll just pop this cover off. We're looking for the 7.5 amp Alt-S fuse, which is this guy right here. And there is a tool in the back of the cover to get fuses out, so let's pull that one out. Turn the spare fuse holder from the cover. Then the diode, the arrow on the diode should point towards ground, and I know the right side's hot. I already checked that, so should be just like that. Should be all we have to do. Pop that back on. Fire this back up and check the voltages again. Alright, so that one was a quick, easy mod. If you're running an AGM, it's definitely something you should consider. Again, you're not increasing the amperage at all. All you're doing is bumping up the voltage just a little bit, by a half a volt typically. So it's a little better for these AGM batteries. So. Alright, so the next step is to get the solar panel mounted. So I'm just going to close the hood here quick. Sorry about the furnace running too, it's cold and snowing like crazy. So here is the solar panel. This one's made by Lensun. Alright, so the reason I want the solar panel is because a lot of times when we're around camp, we've got the fridge going, we've got lights going, charging cameras and phones and drones, and it really takes a toll on the battery. So this will essentially keep everything charged up. This is an 85 watt panel, so it should really help. So we're just going to get this mounted. It just mounts with 3M double back tape. They do make a piece of vinyl you can put on here first to protect the paint, but in my case this truck is well used off-road. The paint's not in great shape, there's rock chips all over the place. I'm not really worried about the paint. This is more functional than anything else. So we'll get some tape put on here and just get that stuck down first. And depending on the kit you buy, depending on the brand you buy, some of them come with the tape. Mine from Lensun did not. So I just picked up some 3M tape from Menards, just some meant for molding in cars. Alright, so you really only have one shot at this, so try and get it centered right. Again, this one's not a show car, so I'm not terribly concerned that it's dead on as long as it's relatively close. So there it is. I might be a little off center here, but it's I think it'll do. I'm happy with it. So now we'll pop these wires back to the firewall for now. They just run underneath the hood here, back along the firewall. And then I've got a solar controller that's Bluetooth capable, so it can tell you what the solar panel is doing. So pop the hood again and run those cables. So the downside is this thing didn't come with any mounting hardware, so I think I want to put it back here on the firewall. I'd actually like to keep it away from the heat a little more. I don't have a real good spot to put it, so I think for now I'm just going to wire it up and temporarily zip tie it down until I figure out a good location for it. So here's a close-up of the solar controller. It is just plug and play. So these plug into the solar panel right here. These two hook up to your battery. And then this is for a load. If you want to monitor a load on the Bluetooth app, you can run a load directly through this and see how much power it's pulling. So I'm not going to do that right away, but I will eventually do that. So for now I'm just going to tape those two off. I think I'm going to make a bracket back here to mount this thing permanently, just so it's away from the heat a little more. But for right now I'm just going to mount it right on top of this fuse panel. Again, this is very temporary. I actually ordered a print shoe rack for this with some whites too, so once I get those in, I will be changing a lot of this. Let's see. They give you plenty of wire so you can mount it in any location you want. And here's these clips. You can't get them backwards. They'll only fit together one way. And again, this is totally temporary. I'll show you guys later when I get this stuff mounted a little better. Alright guys, so this is several days later. We finally got a day of sunlight here. So I can kind of show you what's going on. This is late February, so the sun's still not in the best spot for this. But right now I've got the headlights on just so there's a load on this, and we're currently putting out about 30 watts, 1.7 amps. So it's an 85 watt panel, so during the summer when the sun's higher in the sky, I think it'll do well. So for now, it's pretty happy with how it's working. I did have to get a new diode. That first diode I put in failed, so I've got a new one, put that in. And so far that's been working okay. So anyways, that's gonna be it for this one. I'll see you next time.